All right, so moving along now to some kind of similar, but just a little bit different. Let's talk about Empire for a bit.
Okay.
Um, right, because well, Tuesday, or I should say, yeah, last Tuesday time is recording here. We had its kind of impromptu series finale, right? This would be the season 6 finale of the show.
Right.
But before I jump into the show itself and what this season was about, because we never really talked about Empire itself, we just mentioned the whole controversy with Chelsea Smollett, last year. But yeah, with this particular series finale, the issue was is that apparently there was supposed to be 2 more episodes to wrap things up, right? Because all we got really was just 18 episodes, right? But unfortunately, because of COVID-19, production was halted. So the execs and the team behind the scenes had to make a choice. It was like, well, look, we can't shoot these 2 episodes, or we can't do the finale that we really wanted to do.
Right.
Um, so we just have to kind of take this episode and just call it the finale, I guess, right?
No, but
So
I don't understand. Why don't understand? Why didn't just wait and then make a bigger event out it later after the fact? Just wait.
yeah, that's the thing though, because like normally how the show is that it would start like around October, right? You'll get like about 8 or 9 episodes or 10 or whatever, and
Right.
they'll lock down for Christmas, and then early like mid January or February they'll resume. But yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? They could have just hold off for a while and then just when this COVID-19 blows over, literally,
Yeah.
they just resume. You know what I mean? Look like CW shows, like like Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, Flash. They have to do that. You know what I mean? But they're not gonna cheat the audience by just ending the season impromptu. You know what I mean? Even though
Right.
that's not, even though it's not going to be the end of those particular shows, but still they have a commitment to the audience to give what I mean, to satisfy them. So they're not just gonna end the show just like that and then be like, oh well, yeah, well we kind of have no choice because of COVID-19. Like you know me, you can't do that. But that was a call that they made. I remember when I saw it on Facebook, and I was like, why are they gonna do this for? Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean that was the call that they made. So we got a finale, right? But I'll
Right.
talk about that finale in a bit, right? So because I never really I never really talked about Empire itself. I might just spend like a few minutes just kind of not running through everything that happened in the 5 seasons, but really what the gist of it is about and why I give a shit, right? Um, so from the word go, from the time the first season came out, I checked it out. I mean I was a fan of Terrence Howard, of
Right.
course. Taraji P Henson I'm a fan of as well, and
Yeah.
just both of them just shine. You know what I mean? In literally with each episode, with each season of this, right? They're the 2 main reasons why you watch the show, especially Taraji P Henson, who become like this household name, because of her character Cookie Land, right? Because she's just this badass, you know what I mean? Just take shit from anybody. She's a powerful woman. She's a devoted mother, but she has that little bougie nature about her because, well, she is rich in this series here, and she can be a little bit ratchet too. You know what I mean? She always will tell somebody to, I'll kick your ass, or sit your
Right.
ass down. You know what I mean? Like she's that type of character. And if you follow Twitter, you know what I mean, a lot of people just waiting for her to say some kind of line, and then you'll always go up as soon as the show cuts to a break and be like,
Go-
yo, you know what I mean? You hear what Cookie say? Oh shit, you know what I mean? Like that was it. That was literally what Black Twitter was about every Wednesday night, you
Right.
know what I mean? When the show's out. It's like, what did Cookie say? What did happen in the show, right? But the real reason being why I got into the show in the first place is the just what it was about, right? It was exploring the world of hip hop music, right? Well, hip hop and R&B actually, and to me, this was just always something that fascinated me. I always wanted to know the inner workings of like record labels and all that kind of stuff. Like the
Right.
music that you saw, the music that you heard, the music videos that you saw, the artists that were being promoted and doing tours and putting out albums. This was the one show that I could think of. Well, yes, there was Power. This I will say, even though haven't gotten into Powers yet, but I will see that Empire is now done. I can actually jump into Power. But I always saw Power as the darker version of this, the more
Guys with
grimier
50.
gangster film version of what we get here in Empire,
Guys
right?
with, guys with 50 in.
Yeah, that's the show that 50. I think he
Okay.
either create or executive produce. I know he executive produced it. And I'm
Right.
not sure if he created it. I'll find out eventually. Yeah, but even that show wrapped up, and now we getting spin-offs of this show. I like, all right, good, okay, well, keep making that money. 50. You do your thing.
Right.
Yeah, but to me that was always a draw. It was like, oh, you're getting sorry, behind the scenes of what's going on behind the music that you hear, what I mean. And now that kind of drew me in from episode one, and I would say I was hooked on it, right? But I always checked it out. By the time when the first season came out, it was like the show that people were talking about. um and then also too, well, one thing that I kind of found out early on is that, yes, admittedly, the show is a soap opera. It
Yeah.
is
Well,
every
yeah.
bit a soap opera, right? They always end on cliffhangers. They always have these soap opera-esque moments, you know what I mean, where characters would cheat on other characters, and there would be betrayals and backstabbing, and you know what I mean, who sleep with who and all that kind of stuff, right? Sometimes you will go into really far-fetched, nonsensical moments, right? But it was always about keeping the audience hooked. They always wanted to see what happens next, right? And yeah, oftentimes they will go into like ridiculous territory, but that was kind of like the appeal of the show, right? So
Right.
I understand why people were locked off of it before the controversial incident, which I'll get into in a bit. But yeah, I saw the appeal of it for the word go, and it's just mainly because of how strong the two leads were, and then the cast as well. You know what I mean? Trey, sorry, Byers, who plays the eldest son, Andre. Well, basically it's this family, right? The Lion family, Lyon, right? And Terrence Howard, who plays Lucius Lyon, on is arguably one of the most complex, male characters slash anti-heroes I've seen in a TV show in a long while, actually. I'd actually put him up there with like a Tony Soprano or BoJack Horseman or Walter
Well,
White. You know what I mean? He's just that complex, in my opinion, right? Um, so him and his wife, Cookie, or Lorita, that's her real name actually. Build this empire from the ground up, right? And Andre was the oldest son, but because he couldn't sing or rap, he just kind of stuck to just doing business duties. So ever so often, he would try to find a way to run the company, right, or run the business, and what I
right.
mean, just make it legit, right? Because why I say legit is because, well, Lucius came from a crime background, right? He was a drug dealer, and Cookie helped him out and stuff like that. But Cookie ended up doing a bid, what I mean, for him. So and then afterwards, when she came out, he ended up having to do a bid as well too. So it's all that kind of drama,
Right.
right? But then also there was the mill son. This would be Jamal, played by, well, Jussie Smollett, right?
Right.
Um, and to be honest, he was one of my favorite characters in the show because, well, for
Right.
one thing, the man could have sing his ass off. The man was a really, really great singer, right? But then also too because of the commitment that he had to the family, right? Which is meaning, yes, he is the crooner. He just does these R&B joints, and it was just about him trying to keep the enterprise, you know what I mean, afloat, right? You know what I mean? Because ever so often, even though it's like this mega corporation, they will go through troubles, you know what I mean? They'll have like these deals that go sour, and they might lose money and all that kind of stuff. But he was like the one who kind of tried to hold things together, right? And then also too, well, because he was gay, and there was this whole thing about him opening up and all that kind of stuff, basically,
Right.
right? Which he explored through the 5 seasons when he was there. And then we have Hakim Lyon, you know what I mean, played by Brightsher Y. Gray. He is the millennial, right? You know what I mean? In this whole show, right? He's a
Right.
hip hop star. He's a occasional singer as well too, and it was always about his rebellious nature. Like, you know what I mean? He want to live the fast life. You know what I mean? He want the jewelry and the money and the women and all that kind of stuff, right? And those things kind of came and bite him in the ass when a particular singer signed on to Empire. Tiana, who's played by real life singer Soraya. Well, she got knocked up, right? Actually, and now,
Right.
she had twins. Well, sorry, two children actually by this guy, by Hakim, right? So long, 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 long story short, right? So over the course of 5 seasons, is just the turmoils, the ups and downs with the company, but then also too they just kind of zero in on the relationship between Lucius and Cookie, right? Because from surface level, it's very toxic, right? They argue a lot, they quarrel. It's always some backstabbing, something that they do, cheat on each other, blah 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 blah. But like in Cookie's defense, is always like she always felt like she was always being undermined by Lucius. Like she felt like she helped create Empire in the first place, and he was just always trying to bring her down because she wasn't worthy enough, right? Um, and Lucius now always had this thing about the past coming back to bite him, you know what I mean? So it's always these criminal elements from the past coming for him. And because he's a guy who tends to use violent methods to get things done, right? So essentially he's kind of doing the whole Vito Corleone thing, or Michael Corleone if you want to go deep, right? Essentially like, oh, if you don't do this for me, I'm just gonna roll up on you and just beat the shit out of you, or hire some goon to do something at you. I mean, you would even go as far as just like straight up killing people, Dread, and just like hiding it, right? But the past always seemed to come catch up with them, right? One case in particular was we boy Exhibit, right? You know what I mean? Long time no see, right? He played a character called Shine, haha, right? And it was so dread that they have like this is one of like the best moments ever in this series, right? Where they literally had the man come to record a song, right? Basically admitting to a crime that they do years ago, him and Lucius, right? And then afterwards, the idea was that they found out that Shine was out to get at Lucius anyway. Lucius had the man murked like in the same night though. The same night that the man like record the song, they just kill him. And that was it. And I thought that was like the most gangster thing I ever seen in my life, Dread. To have a man that you find out stab you in your back, bring him to a studio, have him record a song, and then afterwards kill him, Dread. But they do it in this real dramatic style too. I kind of see it real basic, but they do it real Dread. I'll give them that, right? But yeah, oh yes, and also to some other, singers and performers and actors who we haven't seen in a long while appear throughout the series. Like case in point, Mario. When last you hear about Mario?
Oh yeah, for real.
Yeah, Mario said this, right? He was an artist that signed on. He does the R&B thing as well. There's this subplot in the season here where he falls in and out of love with Tiana and all that kind of stuff. Who else is there? Vivica A. Fox is there. Wood Harris. Well, last see Wood Harris. Wood Harris, he's in this. Yeah. They even get David Banner to be in this thread.
Oh,
David Banner, yeah. Well, he came into the season here because, he was a guy that Lucius worked with. He was like a former drug dealer, and then he kind of found out that that Lucius robbed him at a point in time, and just all kind of drama, right? But yeah, so it was just the music, it was the cast involved. It was like oh shit, you bringing this guy to do or this gal to do a guest feature. Okay, cool. And of course the music. I say music before, but I talk about like the the diegetic music. Well, diegetic and non-diegetic music actually, because last thing I'll say before I get to what the season is about. Timbaland actually helped out as far as music production goes. So I always loved how current it was. It didn't feel dated at all. It always follow trends. You know what I mean, as far as like music goes. So the R&B and the hip hop joints always sound like the flavor of the month. It always sound like music that you would hear from since its run from 2015, right? It always was current and always in the times then. So I dug that about the show. And even with the approach to like the whole music stuff, right? So they'll talk about what's trending and who's on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. It always felt grounded in reality, right? So I could always watch and be like, oh, this is how the music biz is, but just with some corruption behind the scenes that, may actually be a reality, right? But I just want to bring you into the conversation for a bit, right? But yeah, what happened with season 5, though, with how it was almost halted now was because of the controversy behind Mr. Jussie Smollett, right? And the whole thing with him and the robbery that took place when he went to go about Subway 2 o'clock in the morning. And even I myself, I get catch. I was like, oh my god, that actually happened. Like this hate crime threat going on. And then when you find out what the truth was, it's like, dog, why you could do that, boy? And then, well, as a result, they had no choice. They had to kick the man out. I mean, I just saying it loosely, but yeah, they had to kick Homeboy out. It's like, but the reason why that was just a a slap to the face to Empire fans is because, like I said before, he was probably one of the best characters in the show because of how compelling and
Right.
likable he was. You know what I mean? And then you pull a stunt because you would get paid enough money with your talents. You could sing your heart out, Dread. Like I don't know, pull out an EP or something like that. Like pull out some music, let people know that you have a life and a career outside of Empire Dread. But don't pull some stunt with these two Nigerian guys and and rope and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, well, what are your thoughts on with this as a reminder to those who didn't check that episode out where we mentioned it. Yeah, your thoughts on what Jussie Smollett did last year.
Yeah, but we talk about it. I mean, it was just so stupid on his part. None of it made sense. Like the logic of it didn't make sense. I don't understand why he decided to do that. Like to me, I was like, wait, if you really want money, you could have like caused one of them to get a sex scandal or say, that was in the middle of Me Too thing now. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't understand the logic at all. It was really stupid. Anyway, Dave Chappelle ripping on it, he deserved it.
Yes, boy.
Done.
When I say juicy Smalley, boy. Like I'll never forget when I heard Dave Chappelle say that. It took me like 2-3 seconds, and as I hear that, I nearly died with laughter, boy. It was so funny, Jack. I pick up, oh shit, it's Jussie talking about way, you know what I mean? Anyway, so let me try to do run through season 6 in a nutshell, the best way I can, right? Because remember soap opera things, so a lot of things going on. So I'll just try to zero in on the important things, right? So I'll bring this up as a issue with the finale itself, right? So they do one of the things. Well, they actually did it in season 5 as well, and it's something that I don't generally like in TV shows, right? But
Right.
they do it here, which is essentially you will show the depth of this character. You will show, oh, this is how the character died, and you'll always leave it as this mystery as to who was the person who pulled the trigger. And well, in that case, it's with Lucius, right? Because like I say, like, well, okay, so basically a lot of people don't like this man head. You know what I mean? So it's like anybody could want to would consider like killing him, right? Like literally shooting him. And I don't know, like instantaneously when I saw the beginning, like just the opening sequence where you see this unknown gunman show up. It's like and then well Lucius sees some kind of something cocky. He's that type of person there. And then he gets shot, right? And then he falls,
Right.
leans over, falls on this glass table, right? I was thinking about Mr. Burns. Remember that classic episode,
Right.
two-part episode of The Simpsons, Who Shot Mr. Burns?
It's what is that Dynasty Dallas? Who shot JR?
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Who shot JR? Right, right, right. And then with Simpsons, I remember that everybody wanted to know who shot Mr. Burns. And then when they reveal it, it's like, yeah, this is perfect. I always remember the final shot of it, but that's another story for another day. So yeah, they do that, and then later on they show that oh, Cookie died as well too, because she went inside her car. Typical cliche stuff. She's at the engine, car blew up. You know what I mean? So they just leave it open right there as to who did this, right? So they continue this rivalry that Lucius had with Demon Cross, right? Who's played by Wood
Right.
Harris, right? He is this, well, I would say this criminal guy, but he trying to look legit and all. And there was this subplot back in the last season where he was trying to blackmail Lucius, and that didn't work. And then, well, Cookie was trying to get some information from him, and because she was falling out with her husband, she went with Demon, and then he assumed, oh well, you was cheating with Demon and all that kind of stuff, blah blah blah, right? But anyway, so he still have this grudge against Lucius. But what happens now is that Demon's daughter Yana gets involved now. She's this kind of she just doesn't really care about material things and stuff. You know what I mean? She just
Right.
wants to travel and do stuff and live her life and just be holy, just be holistic and all that kind of stuff, right? But she has a really sweet voice, right? She's gifted in singing. So Lucius, who picks up on it because he kind of ends up on the run because the feds kind of hunting him down because of this thing involving Demon. So he starts his relationship with Yana, right? But then later on, you realize, oh, Yana is the daughter of Demon. So you're thinking, oh, okay, so you get with her to get back at Demon, which is exactly what he does, right? It's that type of show. They will hook up with
Right.
people to get at people. You know what I mean? That's how deep the show goes, right? And then, of course, well, everybody wants to know what's going on. Because remember, well, he's CEO of the company. So right now, right now Andre is running things and all that kind of stuff. So he shows back up. Of course, Cookie's mad about this and yada yada yada. Um, Also, just speaking of sorry, Cookie for a bit. So she's going through she little drama as well too. So she's now co-host of this talk show, morning talk show basically with two women, these two white women, and because it's Cookie, she just basically be shitting them up on air, and it's kind of amazing how they do it. But it's like wow, man, like you have her just there to do that. But anyway, so she is just becoming more and more fed up of just being around Lucius, just fed up of the damage he's done, you know what I mean, to her life and just people around her. And she just opts to just leaves him. Well, they actually want to do it officially now. So yes, a divorce is involved, right? Speaking of Andre, um, when I see the whole nonsensical stuff that take place in the show, yeah, he's kind of you had to kind of circle his face, right? Because his character, I should say, is bipolar, right? So throughout the series, they always kind of play on the idea of is he seeing things, right? You know what I mean, all that kind of stuff. And then also
Right.
he constantly wrestles with his fate. So he at times he would just kind of not denounce God, but just be like, I don't have any faith in God, and all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? He just always tries to solve things on his own. But then when he's at his lowest, that's when he kind of realizes, oh, I've strayed away from my faith and all that kind of stuff, right? But that's back to the whole bipolar stuff. I don't know if the people behind the show kind of do their research. I kind of don't like it as a narrative device, but they do a thing here where, well, in the last season they found out that there was this illegitimate son of Lucius. Remember, this is a soap opera. This is where we're going at, right? And it was basically at a point in time when Lucius was with this girl who was a crack addict, basically, right? And well, now so well, you realize that the illegitimate son actually was well Lucius's first son, right? So one thing
Yeah.
lead to the next. He dies, and Andrew was going through his medical stuff. Well, he was dying as well too, so they had to donate the bastard's heart to him, right?
Okay.
Well, yes, his name is Kingsley, by the way. That's his name, right? Yeah, they do that thing, which yeah, I can imagine happened before in shows like Bold and Beautiful and stuff like that, right? You have to
Right.
give your enemies heart in order to live, right? So because of the whole stuff now, they do this thing where he's now seeing Kingsley and Kingsley's telling him what to do, and even go as far as him saying, "Oh, I can control your every move now. I can, do your I could, like he would have like these brownouts basically, right, or blackouts, whatever you want to call it, and it's just Kingsley controlling him and all that kind of stuff." Personally, I hate that as a narrative device, though I just find it's lazy. But
Wait,
thematically, they make it work, right? Because it's all that
wait.
whole battle
As
from
is,
within thing, you know?
so wait, he learned this information that because of the bipolar caused that. That is why he thinks like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
technically.
I really thought it was like, oh no, because of the magical power of heart
No, no,
transfusions.
no. It's because of the guilt that he felt now, you know what I mean?
Right,
Especially with
right.
how Lucius treated Kingsley, because yeah, Lucius literally treat him like a piece of shit, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
to Lucius's defense, Kingsley was kind of manipulative son of a bitch, and he just really wanted to take the company away from Lucius, even if it meant killing him, right? You know what I mean? Because like, oh, you know what I mean? You turn your back on me, and you turn your back on mom, so now I'm gonna seek revenge, right? Blah blah blah. So yeah, but Andre at the moment, he is married. He has a son. Well, the son is born in this season here. So yeah, they had to go with. Now we're gonna see the dark side of Andre because Kingsley take over. So now the wife is scared for her life and she's running and all that kind of stuff with the child. And you know what I mean? Like, yes, it adds a lot of tension, but at the same time, it's just so corny, right? There's even a little wedding scene where he smashes out though. That is me moody in my opinion, but I was just watching this like wow, boy. Like I didn't watch it at the night when it aired, but I imagine people probably laughed their asses off with the way how that man spazzed out, boy. It was real crazy, but it was real silly and unintentionally hilarious at the same time, right? So yeah, there's that, right? As far as Hakim goes now, he kind of pushed himself up to be the lead in a more or less a semi biographical account of his dad's rise to power, him becoming,
Right, right,
a
okay.
rap, stuff like that, right? So they do the 8 Mile thing. So they have a movie. It's coming out exclusively from Empire Records. They even make this joke where they plan to put it out on the weekend of a Marvel movie release. I remember
Right.
watching that. I was like, wow, like like didn't even know about COVID-19. Didn't even think about that at the time, Joe. So just the mere fact that they mentioned this being released theatrically was just like, wow, boy. But I'll bring up the
Yeah.
theatrical thing near the end, right? Near the end of this review here. So there's that going on. There's this exec who works in the company who kind of want to get her foot into the game because she apparently she could sing now. So it's like, all right, cool. And she tries to get with Hakim now, which kind of pisses off
Okay.
Tiana because
Of
Tiana is
course.
still the mom of her kids, right? But at the same time, she have this thing with Mario, who's kind of rising as far as an artist goes, right? Just a few more characters I want to bring up before I get to a review of this, right? They actually zero in a lot more on the character of Beckie Williams, who is played by none other than Gaboni Sibidi.
Okay.
Sidibe, actually. Yeah, yeah. She's in this. Yeah, she's in this. She's doing her thing. She's actually a great character in this. I mean, acting wise, she's still stellar as well too. I know she holds her own in this one, right? But in this
Right.
case, she was like she was handling management as far as Empire artists go. But eventually, she left, and now she starts her own record label called Bossy Records. So you're kind of seeing, oh well, how she's gonna get this artist to come true and how they're gonna secure this deal and all that kind of stuff. And it's real pressure on her, right? But she does her thing. So there's a subplot involving her, and there's the ups and downs with that, and who me apparently there was some money laundering involved and just all kind of shenanigans, right? But I'll leave it at that. Also, well, just to get back to Lucius, there's this thing involving, like I say, David Banner's character with him being robbed and stuff like that. And just stuff from the past just being drudged up, basically, right? And catching up with him. But then also with him having to deal with this, well, divorce and kind of realizing once again, which has always been this trend with the show. At the end of the day, despite how toxic the relationship is, they still kind of have love for each other. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like Lucius finally understand this because there will always be moments where he will be close to losing his life, but then he will come back because it's all about the family and it's all about yes, I love you and all that kind of stuff. But then he will slip up and he will do some kind of thing, and then Cookie will overreact and then just want to end it, and they just always find this way to come back together, right? So it just kind of shows the relationship that they're in. But in this case, though, before I jump in, not well, right, just jumping into the review here. I do like the closure that they give to these two lead characters, right? It feels logical, it makes sense because yeah, I mean, 5 seasons in, and it is going through this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So this divorce actually makes perfect sense. But I do like just emotionally that they still do have feelings for each other, even though near the end you kind of hint that what I mean, at the end of the day you're still gonna love each other regardless, right? Which is such a soap opera thing, but it makes sense. It makes sense, right? So I can't
Yeah.
I can't knock them on that. Also the love triangle basically with Lucius and Yana, you know what I mean? That worked in my opinion. Yana just is that kind of free spirit, so she don't want to be involved in no business stuff or no shady drama and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like I know you still love Cookie, right? So it's even to the point that well early on Lucius, because he's also a songwriter, wrote some songs for her to sing, and they become hits because of Yana's delivery. But then later on, she finds out that oh well, these were literally lyrics that you wrote about cookies. So you know what I mean? I
Right.
kind of like that where it all kind of reflects on the music. Oh, what's the music really saying and all that kind of stuff, which is always a trend with the show. You know what I mean? It's not just we putting out a song, but it's what the song's about, like who they addressing or who they dissing or who they dedicated to and all that kind of stuff. As far as Hakeem goes, his arc was kind of disappointing in my opinion because to me, like throughout the series, he was just always that rebel, right? I remember I say he's the youngest. You know what I mean? He would just always make these bad calls. Not to say that he would always do bad things, right? But it's just he's young. You know what I mean? He wants to live that playboy lifestyle, right? But because of the kids, it kind of he kind of has to wisen up and be mature, right? But this case here is like okay, well I want to live up to everyone's expectations. I want to deliver this performance as best as I can. okay, that's cool, you're doing your thing, and then there's this whole thing with him and the exec who wants to show up. But there's really nothing else outside of those two things, and just a little thing with Tiana. There was nothing really else that really gripped me as far as this character arc goes, right? So he was just kind of there. Um, I will bring up Jamal near the end, right? That will be Jussie Smollett's character, right? Andrea,
Right.
as I said before, it was kind of nonsensical. The stuff that they did with him seeing Kingsley and controlling him and all that kind of stuff. But once again, that was just always a trend with him, kind of battling these inner demons, and they kind of wrapped that up nicely. I would say, right? Even though, like I say, this is stuff with him and Kingsley, they work, right? Just thematically they work, but there were just some moments where it's just like God, but it's just so unintentionally hilarious in my opinion, right? Um, Becky's character, right? Gaboni, right? Um, yeah, Gabore, sorry, if I got the name wrong, forgive me, right? I actually like the moments with her, just her trying to build this new label from the ground up, you know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff. I dug that, right? And once again, just the reason why I got to the show in the first place, the whole in-depth lookness. So it's so like, oh, this is how an indie label is, and all that kind of dope shit, right? So I like that. But as a whole, with this season here, you know what I mean, like you could tell that the well, this clearly was the final season, right? So I do appreciate the fact that they tied certain narrative loose ends and all that kind of stuff. Technically, this is still a very well made show, you know what I mean? You could tell that Fox spent a ton of cash on this show, but I will
Right.
not lie. Like I would love to find out the budget for these episodes, by because yeah, they spent some cash on this show, by they spent real cash on this show. Whether it is securing some guest performer, whether it be a rapper or R&B singer, or just even some actor or actress that you've seen a long while. By now, if you know the style of the show, which is, like, yes, like everybody give their all with it. But at the end of the day, it still has that kind of slight love and hip hop vibe to it, you know what I mean? Where yes, characters would do some kind of, they also have some kind of scandalous moment, you know what I mean? Like some character say something or do something, it's like, oh my god, she just do that or he just do that. It has that kind of vibe now. So
Yeah.
the show knows its audience. It knows where it is, right? It's for the Wendy Williams fans. Like, oh, you saw what happened last night on Empire. I mean, that's what it's for, right? But for the hip hop heads or the people who just like to know the inner workings of the music world, like me, yeah, it always has stuff in it to keep me interested. Even though,
Right.
yes, the soap opera stuff does tend to make me roll my eyes at times, right? But 5 seasons in, that's what the show is about, right? So about this series finale, right? So, like I said before, early on, they were aiming to end it with 2 more episodes, right? But because of COVID-19, they just kind of had to give us this episode and call it the end, right? Now, yes, they do tie some stuff up. Unfortunately, they rush a certain arc, like the end of certain arc. This kind of rush a certain arc up now. Well, I should say a few arcs up, right? And I would have understood it if they just had 2 more episodes to just kind of even things out, to just let us see the aftermath of what happened with those characters. But because they just kind of rush those things, just like, oh, well, that happened. All right. Okay. Whatever. Um, but yeah, I did, look, see online that people were kind of disappointed with how certain arcs ended, how apparently they rushed certain things. I don't know if they took scenes from later episodes and just blended into one. I doubt that, right? But couple main flaws, right? And yes, again, the spoilers here. One, they don't actually show who killed Lucius or Cookie.
Okay.
They just leave it out there in the open, right? And I just
Yeah.
like they would I thought that they were going to show at least, because there's a really intense moment near the end, and I thought that, oh, the consequence of that would be, this is why they
Right.
died in the first place. But they
Okay. So
they
I
don't they don't show it.
yeah, the way I was talking, like, okay, so I don't know if you remember the end of Soul Food. Remember that show? That was a show on Showtime, the series
I
based on
remember this show, based off the movie, right?
right.
The 1997 movie, which also starred Vivica Fox, right? Haha. But
Yeah.
yeah, I never got into the show, to be honest. I remember when it was out on Showtime, but I never watched it.
Yeah.
I
I
did watch the movie, but yeah.
it had a similar, that had a similar problem. I kind of rushed and then rush final season.
Uh-huh.
Kind of with these black shows, they can't pull it off.
I don't know, but I think I mean like, but I don't think Soul Food lasted for 6 seasons. Like I could be wrong. I think it was less than that. But yeah, but a
Right.
show like this, right, with a fan base as devoted as it is, even though yes, I would admit over the seasons, I mean, people kind of fell off of it. People just kind of didn't care for it. I guess it's because of the soap opera-ness of it all, and maybe people were just annoyed by Cookie because yes, Cookie's a great character, but yeah, at some point in time, it's like the kind of ratchetness I would admit I admit will and probably did piss people off, right? But yeah, like I said, they just didn't show who pulled the trigger, who organized the whole death of the hit, I should say, on Cookie, right? That's still out there. But also too, and I picked up on it too, right? From early on, right? So what they do, because Jussie Smollett's character was literally written off, what he said is that he and his boyfriend actually moved to London or something like that, right?
Right.
Because he was some reporter, he was some photographer, some news photographer, something like that, right? And they just moved to London. That's how they wrote off his character. Throughout the show, you just kind of hint on, yeah, we you know what I mean? Like I wish Jamal was here, but I heard that he was in this country doing this thing. Okay, whatever, right?
Right.
But
Like,
people, yeah, they do that thing, right? But fans now were expecting with the finale, quote unquote. Now we would have seen him, right? But I knew that he wasn't going to show up. But here's the catch now. This is where I have to get into a little another spoiler here. So they do a premiere of the movie, right? And they have a performance with Hakim, right? So he's doing this rap song paying tribute to the Lion family, right? Dope song, by the way, right? I would say songwriting has always been like a strong aspect of the series here. They always come true, right?
right.
So they have like these little flashbacks of moments from the series itself, more particularly the first season, right? And when it came to Jamal himself, you saw him as a little kid.
Okay.
You saw him as a little kid because they would always have flashbacks of him as a kid in the past now. Well, in the first season, right? Because there was this thing about his dad not kind of hating the fact that he's gay, right? And just trying to kind of beat it out of him literally when he was young, and him over the years just taking long to accept the fact that yes, my son is gay, and then well, eventually he does over the series, right? But yeah, they just kind of show him as a kid in this montage, and they never
Right.
even bothered to show him as an adult, right? Even though you have 5 seasons of footage where you could pick a shot and show him now, but they don't do that now. And apparently Black Twitter went crazy over this. Like, oh my god, like, Horse final episode, you couldn't even show, what I mean? You could not show Jussie Smollett. They're like, oh, they hate this man so much. And
Well,
I mean,
I can imagine that they probably didn't have the, usually there's some contract shit or some bullshit like that, so they couldn't show the actor image or some shit like that. It's always some bullshit.
yeah. I feel it really was something behind the scenes, and that's the reason why they couldn't do that. Because, like I say, this show, like many other great shows, won't betray the audience, right? They will give them what they want, right? They know what they want, right? So it's like, okay, well, like I say, maybe it's a contracting, maybe Jussie was just like, F all day I go on. So it's like we couldn't really use your face and likeness for that episode. But because it's the quote unquote final episode, what I mean, fans felt cheated. And I could understand, but I get why they did what they did, but still when you think about it, it's just like, could I just take one shot, one little scene, like 1 2 second little image of him, and that's it, right? But you show him as a kid, and I understand why they do it, but just like, come on, man, right? But yeah, other than that, though, and this is what well, last thing I want to say before I get to written here, but here's the thing, though. They ended off the best way they could, even though once again, like I say, they leave the fates or whoever it is kill off Cookie and Lucius open, right? But I have a feeling that they're gonna do like what like what quite recently Deadwood, right, from HBO did.
Right.
Have a
Yeah.
movie.
Right.
But
Right. I feel they might
but
do that. But
yeah,
the thing
but
is Lee Daniels thing, so they might do that.
yeah. Because clearly, if it's 2 episodes left, let's just have it be a 2-hour movie, right? Or
Right.
let's just be the official finale. But then again, like you said earlier on, like they could just have it. Well, okay, well, let's take it from what it is you said, right? Like how you said they could have just put it on pause, and then when this whole COVID-19 nonsense ends, they just resume it. They could just have like a special, like a 2-hour special, but because of how big budget this show is already, It's like, what the hell? Why not make it a movie? You don't have two popular leads already, Taraji P. Henson and Terrence Howard, you know what I mean? And everybody else could do their thing. So why not make it a movie? But that's not to say it will get a theatrical release, because case in point, Deadwood, the movie, that came out on HBO, right? And this was years after
Yeah.
the series came to an end, right? So you can have it on Fox, just have it be a 2 hour special, but call it the movie, like Empire the movie. I think people will eat that up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that will be the official conclusion to all of this. And because of what we already know with or at least I should say this could be a great way to kind of bring people up to speed with what's going on, right? So you bring up the whole thing with who killed Lucius and who killed Cookie, and you just have that be the way to reintroduce the world to the characters of Empire itself, and just have it be kind of like a standalone film there, and just be the real conclusion, right? You know what I mean? As opposed to what we got here. So I don't want to think that this is it. This is the end, and we're not gonna get any more. I think that Lee Daniels and his team are smart enough to be like, all right, once we get the money, we could give people the ending that we want. Before it
Right.
is this conclusion wasn't half bad, even though I know some people were terribly disappointed by it. But I mean, come on, this given the situation, this is what happened, right? It's unfortunate, but we get what we get, right? So as a whole, if you've been a fan of these show from day one, you'll enjoy the season for what they were going for, right?
Right.
It is unfortunate that it does feel kind of like a abrupt conclusion, but like I say, I just have a feeling that we're gonna get some 2 hour finale or a movie on Fox that will just wrap everything up, right? But
Right.
this is not a show for everyone. Like if you don't like the ratchetness of it, if you don't like the how to say the soap opera aspect of it, yeah, this is not gonna be for you, right? Oh, and I forgot to mention one thing I just want to mention before I get to reading. This is kind of interesting too. I just had to bring this up, seeing where we're from, right? This show actually used to show on local TV, right?
Yeah.
Well, did show, I should say, on, well, one of our stations, CCN TV6, right? Now to remember that being a big deal because of our issue with how, showing gay characters on TV, right? Which is funny because you have like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which does it in a kind of team way, but then you have Empire, which isn't explicit, but at the same time, yes, there were moments where you saw Jussie Smollett's character, kissing a guy or being in bed with a guy and all that kind of stuff. I'll never forget though where there was one or couple of moments where there was like this intense back and forth between him and, well, Jussie and, well, the boyfriend at the time, and they kind of rush and have this kind of passionate kiss, right? And I
Right.
remember they just like TV6 just not knowing what to do. So every time they would get to the kisses, they would just cut and go to the next scene, right? Or cut to like a
Right.
next scene. And it was so blatant, right? Because you hear any music in the background, right? Because the show is reliant on background music, right? So you always knew when they make a cut. But I'll never forget though, there was a moment where literally they walked and did the intense kiss, right? And it wasn't like they cut to commercial, they just have like this black rectangular box blocking the majority of the shot itself. But you
Right.
saw
Yeah.
the edges of it too. And I never forget seeing that. And from that moment, I
Yeah.
was like, nah, I can't watch it on TV6. I used to watch it off of there. But because of the way how they used to cut those moments, like, well, bro, like,
Yeah.
if you're embarrassed to show those moments, then don't bother to show it. You know what I mean? But hey, they actually show the whole series itself, so it's like, all right, good, okay, whatever. But yeah, just those little cutting moments, editing moments, I felt was it. I don't know, like once again, you know the nature of the show, so if you don't want to show stuff like that, just don't bother. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you're in that camp who just do like those kind of things, then yeah, this show is not for you. But if you just want to see how contemporary music works, and if you just want a nice, genuine, bingeable emphasis on bingeable drama slash thriller series, then yeah, I would say I would recommend checking out Empire. But once again, it's not for everyone. You know what I mean? It all depends on your taste, right? If you like that kind of scandalous stuff, if you like that whole what's gonna happen next kind of vibe, then this is for you. But if you kind of want your stuff a little bit more straightforward or I guess edgy, then I guess you could go for stuff like Power, which I will jump into because yeah, I clearly was late for that train. But yeah, I mean, not much more I could say as far as the rating goes with this season. Uh, Strong 3.5 out of 5, man. I mean, it is what it is. It was still a solid season. despite the abrupt end. Hopefully, we'll get like a satisfying conclusion to this. And the series as a whole, I would give like a light 4 to 5, man. Like it's not the greatest show in the world out there, but for what they went for, you know what I mean? I guess like if you look at it, you know what I mean? They clearly swing for the fences there. I mean they got a equivalent to, not just a bingeable show, but a soap opera series that people were talking about. It was the talk of the town at a point in time, right? It's just because of who just the smallest bullshit that kind of put a negative light on it, and I guess people turned their back on it. But still, the show, delivered the goods, you know what I mean? Still with the OMG moments, the oh shit moments, the solid acting throughout, and of course the great music as well. I don't know what we're gonna get next here. Like I say, this still waiting for the official finale. But I'm curious to see what the legacy of the show will be. Like if people will look back at it and cringe, or they'll be like, the show was kind of onto something here. But we just didn't really care because there was power and just the smallest and the bullshit, right? But I mean, in time we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.